Good morning and welcome to our devotions for today, Tuesday. It is, as always, a blessing to be with you, and we look forward to our time together today to share in these moments of reflection as we seek to deepen our relationship with the Almighty, as we seek to find ways and means to allow God to become even more manifest in our lives. It's a fresh day, and yes, there is the matters from yesterday, but before we delve into the matters of yesterday, let us see if we can embrace the freshness of this new day and be able to allow this new day to unfold in ways that would enable us to know more clearly our purpose in this world. We give God thanks for all that God has done with us and through us through the past night, and we now come as we take ourselves into that quiet space where we can be still and know that He is God. And so we find our place of quiet, our place of solitude. We place our feet on the ground if that is possible, and we bring ourselves into our heart space, and we breathe deeply a few times, just bringing all of our attention into our hearts, because our devotion is a devotion of love. We are seeking to draw closer to the Almighty. We are seeking the path of ascension. And the path of ascension is a path through love. It is about love. And today we are on the threshold of the season of Lent, and so we are reminded of the importance of breaking through to that space within us that is about love, for this is the entire message of this Christian story: to find love and to be love and to give love. So as we come into this space in our hearts, now we allow the light of Christ to shine in our hearts. We allow that light to engage us, to be magnified, to be strengthened, to be made even more brilliant. And in the midst of that brilliance, we acknowledge that we are vessels of the divine, that our task in this world is to shed light wherever we can. So we bring ourselves into that space where we are seeking to be light, be wondrous light, into the stillness, into the presence of God working His purpose out in you and in me. This is who we are, children of light, children of wondrous light. In that space of stillness, then, we come and we share that light with each other. We feel each other's presence. We know that the other is there. And as we bind ourselves together, we seek to cover this earth with light, dispelling the darkness, bringing hope where there's hopelessness, bringing a sense of belonging where persons feel abandoned, bringing a sense of safety in God where persons feel unsafe. We bring this light across this earth. And we join with others of other faiths, of other persuasions, who themselves seek to bring light. And we ask that our light may shine with all its radiance, that we may truly be counted worthy to call the name Jesus, knowing that He is the light of the world. So this day, we bring that light now as it radiates in our hearts. We bring that light to the Word. The Word that we are going to share this morning. A word that speaks of Jesus' encounter with Pilate. And as we prepare to receive this word, we ask that in some way we may receive some light from this word that will enable us to radiate with even greater resonance and light for our world. Then they took Jesus from Caiaphas to Pilate's headquarters. It was early in the morning. They themselves did not enter the headquarters, so as to avoid ritual defilement and to be able to eat the Passover. So Pilate went out to them and said, "What accusation do you bring against this man?" They answered, If this man were not a criminal, we would not have handed him over to you." Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and judge him according to your law." The Jews replied, "We are not permitted to put anyone to death." This was to fulfill what Jesus had said when he indicated the kind of death he was to die. Then Pilate entered the headquarters again, summoned Jesus and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you ask this on your own, or did others tell you about me?" Pilate replied, "I am not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and the chief priests have handed you over to me. What have you done? Jesus answered, My kingdom is not from this world. If my kingdom were from this world, my followers would be fighting to keep me from being handed over to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not from here. Pilate asked him, So you are a king? Jesus answered, You say that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice. Pilate asked him, What is truth? Here ends the reading. A very familiar episode in the life of Jesus, one that we all hear year by year, and the dramatic nature in which it is presented causes us always to be able to remember that dialogue between Jesus and Pilate. A dialogue where Pilate seems to be trying to understand what is going on, and Jesus isn't really helping him much, because Pilate is just, in a sense, a puppet in this whole scenario. And so there is this sense of resolve in Jesus' mind as he speaks with Pilate. He speaks of his kingdom not being of this world. No doubt at this point in time, Jesus is in a space where he has his eyes set on home. He knows that his Father waits to receive him. He is prepared to go home. This episode in his life is just another demonstration of love. One may ask why love has to be so painful. Could God not demonstrate love in a more amicable manner? Couldn't the story end without having to go through this ordeal. When I reflect on this, I'm always mindful of the idea that we have come into this world, we have incarnated, we have taken on flesh. And we have to come to a point where we let go of the flesh, where we are able to return from whence we have come, where we are called to go up higher. And this can be one of the most challenging works for us, the letting go of the flesh, the choosing to be with the divine. Now, in a sense, in those early days of the Christ path, many took this extremely literally, and we are told of individuals who jumped into the arenas to be mauled by lions and other wild beasts. I don't think it is God's desire that the human family should give their lives like that. But that's how it was being interpreted, because persons saw it as the end. I think when we look at the life of Jesus, we realize that Jesus didn't kill himself. And Jesus allowed himself to be taken. Jesus was making a sacrifice. And that sacrifice that Jesus was making was being demanded of him by others. Jesus' life was about life. He was about giving life wherever he had the opportunity. He was about bringing light into darkness. He was about bringing love to persons where they felt abandoned by the world. That was Jesus' work. And that is the work we are called to do. We tend to focus on the crucifixion and the scourging, and we see that as Jesus' gift. But Jesus' gift really was the demonstration of love that he gave all the way through his life. What happened on Calvary was not a choice Jesus made, in that he did not ask to be killed, but he was killed. In Gethsemane, he was very aware of what his acts of love had caused. But that was what the acts of love had caused. It wasn't what he called for. We have to be able, I believe, to remember Jesus as the person who brought a clearer awareness and a sharper awareness of what love is into our world. Around the Good Friday period, there are cultures where people take to the streets, and some are crucified, some are beaten with whips. And all of it is in a sense of expressing devotion, but that was not the devotion of Jesus. The devotion of Jesus was to his obedience to the Father. He went where the Father told him to go. He loved the people that the Father brought for him. He healed the ones that came to him asking. He turned no one away. That's the devotion of Jesus. That's the gift of Jesus to the world. The rest is what we, as persons who don't understand that high gift of love, is the sort of things we do to individuals whose light is so brilliant. But we somehow have taken the scourging and the punishment, and we've used Hollywood, etc., to make it glamorous. But that's not the message of Jesus. That's not the message of Jesus. The message of Jesus is to love. To love unfailingly. And that's what you and I are called to do. That's what our work is about. And when we're able to do that is when we're able to rise up. When we're able to, in a sense, recognize that our call is to be with the divine. We don't need to end our lives. We just long for home. We just long to be with God. But while we are in the flesh, while we still have breath in this body, we make it our utmost desire to please the one whom we call Father. So yes, there's the dialogue with Pilate. But that dialogue with Pilate is, in a sense, not connected to the work. The work has gone long before that. The work has led him to that point. And Jesus trusts the one whom he served to take him through that moment in his life. When we love as we are supposed to love, we can be obedient to death. We can allow, because we know that because we are about love, the one who is the source of love will not abandon us, will not leave us to go through anything on our own, but will be present to us. And we may have to bear some pain, but we know we are not alone. And we know that what is important is that we have lived with faithfulness. We have lived as the one who called us into being desired for us to live. We have lived with that wonderful awareness of God's divine presence, just as Jesus did. And that is what we are called to do, to live a life of love. And if we live a life of love, we can look forward to being at one with the Father. Maybe find the peace we need and the courage within to journey home with each passing day.